Welcome to the Conoverse. This is Akshay Sura.
And this is Matt McQueenie.
Today we have with us the new CEO of Content.ai. Hey, Bart.
Hello, good to see you again, guys. Yeah, a bit of title change, but yeah, you saw it on the press release that we just did. It's a bit of exciting times for us.
Absolutely. So, Bart, we had you on the Conoverse for your personal story, but why don't you speak to what this announcement entails that was released, I believe, this week?
Yeah.
And then just, what it kind of means for your role and for the organization's path forward.
Yeah. So very high level, Content.ai got an investment of 40 million, a 40 million growth investment from a company called Expedition Growth Capital. So that's the first part of the message. And second is what it also means for us is that we, from the 1st of July, officially, we have separated as an independent company. So we have had a carve out. We've had a carve out from Kentico. So since 1st of July, we're an independent company with an investment, and we have big plans to grow.
That's awesome. So the name of the new brand is going to be Content.ai based on your press release, right?
Yes.
Do you guys talk about the name change? Because I know that we've gone through a couple of different brandings. So what's the reasoning behind Content.ai?
Yeah, so for us, I think one of the things that for us is really important is also to, let's say, make sure that we really differentiate ourselves in the market. And what we saw in the last years is if you look at content management in itself, and you probably remember the tagline that we already used, content better, faster, and at scale. You could say that we saw one of the biggest needs at bigger enterprise organizations when they look at content at scale is that they need help with it. And help means help in the creation of content. It means help in managing the content. It means help in publishing the content to the various channels. And we obviously know that when you look at AI, it's typically some kind of we would call it like generic theme that you can put as a bit of an umbrella around, like, let's say, everything that you do. And we don't really believe in that, like AI is a solution for everything, but we really talk about composable AI. So when we look at AI, we look at where can you leverage artificial intelligence, automation in that creation phase, in that managing phase, or that publishing phase to really help content editors, organizations to publish their content more efficiently. Let me give you a couple of examples. Like if you, for example, think about creation phase, then you should think about the writing of the content. How can you do sentiment analysis? How can you write better content? You can automate that and give tips, advices. You can, let's say, really help content editors to create better content. That's one part of the puzzle that you can solve. Some organizations have a challenge there, not all of them. If you look at the manageability part, then you really should think about like, how can you really like leverage, for example, automated tagging? How can you organize an improved SEO part? So how can you make sure that when you create the content, that it also becomes, let's say, more manageable, that it becomes like a valuable piece of content for the organization? So you could say that is a part where also some organizations struggle. And then the last part around that, let's say that publication, well, you can all imagine that with large organizations, they want to publish the content in every channel and like in every language, whatever they want to do. And also in that aspect, there's a lot of places where automation, intelligence really can help improving that publication. Then you can think about content recommendations. You can think about automated publishing, depublishing. You can think about like anything that is related really to that publishing and part of the content, and also sometimes unpublishing. So what we see with Content.ai, and that's why we also really consciously wanted to take that name, is that if you look at our product strategy, where we really want to go, is that we really see if you really want to use, let's say, a modular content platform, which Content.ai is, then you really should also help organizations to leverage that. And we really believe that if you do it good and very specific, we call that composable AI, then you really help organizations. And that's also where the name comes from.
So, Bart, as you're looking on the roadmap to leading to this day, what were some of the elements that went into looking for infusion of money? We all want that, right? But going into looking for that, how long has it kind of been in discussion? What were the things that kind of led to looking to that and kind of decoupling yourself a bit from Kentico?
So I think when we started operating as two independent divisions in February 2020, we already were aware in our organization that it was really important to let's say have these two independent divisions with their own product strategy, their own marketing, because they were offering a different solution for different markets, for a different problem in a sense. And for us, you could say, I think we realized that it was pretty much a bit of an intermediate situation where we had those two independent divisions. And we really saw that with both platforms, actually, they were running their own, let's say, development and their own show. And probably it's good to mention that also Kentico Experience also got committed capital as part of the investment. So they can also tap into to 20 million investment as well. So it's 40 million for Content.ai and 20 million committed for also Kentico Experience. And but for us, it was important to really, let's say, leverage our own identity, our own product, our own positioning in the market as a standalone company to really accelerate that. It's better for the brand recognition in the market for both the product. It's better for also for the investor actually to invest in acceleration in both products. So for us, it was a really logical step to actually move forward. It allows us to be really clearly positioned as a headless CMS, which we also want to be. It enables us to join, for example, the MEC Alliance, which we also will apply for, obviously. So it gives a lot of opportunity to accelerate both companies, actually. And that's, for us, it was a really logical choice. I think you know that we come from a bootstrapped company. Yeah? We've always been privately funded. So we were also really keen on bringing an investor on board that really also matched the DNA that we had in the company. So we were not just looking for a shareholder that was just like putting some money on the table, where if you do it well, then some individual person gets richer. That really didn't fit the culture. So we were really looking for a company that would also really help us to support the growth. And I think with Expedition Growth Capital, UK-based fund, we really found a company that both from, let's say, a capital perspective, but also from a culture and DNA perspective, really fits to our company as well.
Like from a very 60,000 foot level, Bart, like 40 million is a lot of money.
Yes.
Which are the major buckets you'll be spending that money on initially in the next year or two in order to get to where you want to get to?
Yeah, so I think the first part obviously is really growing our sales and marketing organization. I think we really can leverage the opportunity that we have. We really want to invest a lot in our core regions in the US, in Europe, but also in Australia and New Zealand. So we really want to enforce our sales and marketing machine. That's where you could say where the biggest chunk of our investment will go. But secondly, what I also already mentioned is that we really have strong ambition to really take that composable AI to the next level. So we will also keep investing in a product to really create those, you could say, specific, unique features that are capabilities around that composable AI that will help those organizations to also use the automation there as well. So another part of it will go into our product development as well. So you could say those are the two biggest places where the investment will go.
So again, maybe I'll go 90,000 feet right now, but at the other level, very interested in how do the mechanics of the company change with something like this? A lot of the core team is still involved. I know you'll expand, but do the mechanics change? Is it just a different name on the paycheck, or what happens there?
I would say partly. I think we should, I think we developed our company over time, and we definitely shouldn't throw away the good things that we already had. I think we had, for example, an awesome playbook in the company. Well, when we started the new company on the 1st of July, we announced it internally. We created our own new playbook, but it's not like a brand new playbook that with completely different set of values. So that's, I would say, something that we will keep it adjusted a little bit to be our own brand. When you look at the organization, obviously we are like operating now as an independent company. I think one of the things that you will see changing is that we, for example, in the US are moving our headquarters to New York, because that's where our strongest client base is. But the other headquarters, you will see, we had them in the past in London, we will keep it. We have it in Amsterdam, we will keep it. But those will all be Content.ai specific headquarters. So it will be really separated entity. So I think from a structure and dynamics perspective, we will not really change. I think what you will see is that we will change in size of scale. So if you look at, for example, our US operations and our European operations, for example, from a sales organization, we're establishing also two really dedicated sales teams. We already had sales people in the different regions, but we now establish stronger sales teams also with their own VP of sales for the region specifically, where we normally manage it from an umbrella. But you can imagine that we will grow the company immediately from around 120 people in 2022 when we start to around 220 people. So we want to add 100 new people in the upcoming fiscal year in the upcoming time. So you will see like the scale growing very quickly. And that's something where you also obviously will see a bit more layers in the organization. But fundamentally, we're not really changing the organization or the way how we do things.
So Bart, how do you, this is an envisioning question. So how do you envision this investment affecting your customers and your partners?
Yeah, so I think that, so first of all, I think for the customers, I would believe that that they will get, like if I talk about our existing customers, I would expect that they will get more attention, that we will have more employees, we will have more people in product development. So we will have, let's say, a quicker turnaround on new releases, new functionality. I think we can help the clients better. We will have a bigger customer success organization. So that's where we scale up. Obviously, we will set up our own 24/7 support organization. We actually already started by the 1st of July. It was always a shared one. Now we have a Content.ai only a team. For new clients, I think what you will typically see is that we will, like, obviously, we will make more noise in the market. We will be more present on events. We will be more engaging with Gartner and Forrester. So I think they will see us more, which obviously makes the buy-in for some heads of marketing and CTOs in organizations easier. So that's, I would say, the benefit for the clients. So it's on the product side, it's on the level of attention. I think with the partners, what I would expect, again, obviously when we grow, we don't grow on our own, we grow together with partners. You are one of our premium partners. You know how we do business. So if we are successful and are able to make more noise in a certain market, it's also good for our partners, because we don't do implementations, the clients do the implementations, or the clients do implementations with partners. So I think also for our partners, that acceleration that Content.ai will have in the market will also really have a positive benefit on them. And I think also that the fact that we are now standalone company with a clear proposition, a clear product, a clear organization. Also, if there was still any confusion between like product A and product B, that shouldn't be there anymore. It's very clear you're dealing with Content.ai and that's the product, and you're a partner for Content.ai. So I think it also adds a level of clarity as well.
So how do you envision things for Bart with the change in terms of maybe what you were doing internal facing versus external facing? What's kind of exciting you, other than the big announcement, but just personally?
Yeah, so like personally for me, and it's the announcement itself, the fact that we are able to get it, that is, I would say, one of the biggest, I think, happinesses, or where I'm really proud of. And that's really not my effort, it's really an effort of the team, because we couldn't have done it with the team without a good product and everything. So that really makes me proud. I'm really proud that I can be the CEO of that amazing team, to be honest. And for me, how I look a bit at the change, I think it's important for me specifically to spend more time outside of the company. In the last 2 years, when we had a split, there was still a lot of internal focus on getting the engine running, to get our organization foundation really well. It was obviously effort and time that we did on the fundraising. And I think that's really important. We currently have good working teams. I don't have to manage them on a day-to-day basis, but I think it's really important also for me to visit our key clients, to have talks like at events, to sit with the analysts from Gartner and Forrester and with G2. And so I would envision that I will be a little bit more on the road, that I will be a bit more out, sharing our Composable AI story. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to, because I think when you're proud of the company and the product, it's an amazing opportunity just to go out and talk about it. And now with the COVID times that travel is possible again, I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, that's what I think will be a big change for me.
And then Bart, as part of separating yourself from Kentico, are there going to be any branding changes? I heard there's a color change and your t-shirt kind of matches the color.
Well, you saw the new color change in the press release and the new website. Well, we decided to obviously to really have our own identity. So we have a new color. This is more accidental because this is not the company color. It's a little bit greener, but you saw it on the website. I think it's good and important for us to really differentiate ourselves. So obviously new branding, new logo, new color, which I think is really great. If you look, we will have a big global launch event with the whole team in Brno on the 9th of September. So we bring everybody over to Brno. Probably that's the only moment in the Content.ai history that we will put a bit of an announcement on our support, telling everybody, well, only if it's really urgent, then you can call us, but don't disturb us too much on the 9th of September. But for me, it's really important because we now have the opportunity to do so. I think we already hired a couple of new people, so I think we will then be at around 150 people. And I think it's really important to really give our whole organization a big push towards our new, let's say, 3 to 5 year horizon. Really discuss and talk about our strategic goals, do something fun, celebrate a bit of what we did. And that's something I really look forward to. Yeah,
I'm gonna be there
the
for the September 9th part for the MVP summit. So
yeah, well, I'll tell you. Oh yeah, you'll probably be there, but you will definitely then be on the party in the evening. So that would be really good for you. Now, but I think it's probably also good to know that we are planning for our Horizons again, our Content.ai Horizons conference. We're not sure how we're exactly going to do it, but definitely it will be probably a combination of physical, virtual. Probably somewhere 2 sessions, one in the States, one in Europe somewhere. I think in November, but again, we need to plan it. There's a lot going on these days with a bit of a different priority, but it will come. So please keep an eye on that. And I think that also gives a good opportunity for both clients and partners to really meet and talk a bit about the future of our product and where we're going also with Composable AI and really how we see it, what's on the roadmap and things like that. So that's a moment that we will definitely ask everybody to mark in their agenda as well. Apart from that event for MVPs and employees and things like that. Yeah.
Bart, I think my final question, and you brought up the COVID things kind of being lifted mercifully and being able to travel. I'm kind of interested in what it's like to be setting up, I guess, a New York office coming out of COVID and in these times with the excitement of your announcements. But what has that process been like?
Yeah, so that's really a good question, actually, a bit at the end. So one of the things that we decided, and it's a result, obviously, of COVID times. So we were used to work pretty hybrid, people going to the office, people being remote. But we actually said that as a company, we want to be a hybrid company from a way of working. We will also publish our playbook probably in the beginning of September publicly. And one of the things that we put in there, in a sense, everybody is working in a hybrid mode. And what it means is that people are able to go to offices. It can be like our headquarters, for example, in Brno, but it can be a co-working office. So we make sure that if people want to go to an office, they're able to do so, but we will never enforce people to go to an office. And so in a sense, it means that people are free to work together when they want, work online when they want. It's not so easy. You can easily say it, but it's not so easy to execute, because it means something in culture, it means something in way of communication, it means something in your hard and software. You need to support it in many places. And one of the things that we want to do with all the remote offices is that most likely we're currently looking at like one of the global providers of co-working spaces, could be WeWork or Regus or any of those examples, and allowing people that work remote always to come together in an office, whether it is in the New York office where we can book meeting rooms and sit together and even work dedicated if people want to be in the office more than once. Like I know, for example, in Sydney, Australia, that a couple of people really like to go to the office every day. Well, then we will have an office there which is more dedicated and fixed for us. So that is how we look at our new way of working. And we also said that if we then reach a certain size in a certain location, where really a bigger group of people constantly wants to come to the office, for example, what we have in our headquarters at the moment, then we obviously will have a more fixed space, and that we say, well, okay, this is our fixed office. But we try to really solve it in a different way, because we also believe that people like to work remote, like to come to an office, but not being enforced to go to an office. And also, it's very difficult to find talent. So why should we limit ourselves to find talent just in a specific location and try to solve it only there? So that's how we look at it, and that's why we are setting up an office in New York. But it will be one of the, like for example, WeWork addresses that we like, which is close to our clients. And if we then meet them, we will meet over there. And if we have meetings in Los Angeles, we'll go and find a WeWork space in Los Angeles or wherever we want.
Yeah, it's funny because we talk about composable business, right? It's the ultimate kind of living manifestation of composable business.
Exactly. But it's like, it's the same with composable. Some vendors say that they're composable. They're not really. They are like, they say that they are. We try to do it pure. So also with this approach, we really allow everybody to decide it for themselves, and we mean it. I think we can enforce people to come to the party on the 9th of September probably. But even if somebody would really say, no, I don't want it, I think we would have a bit of an internal discussion whether we would really then try to push somebody or not. I think then it's more about seduction of the great party. But that's how we really want to live it. And we saw in the COVID times, it doesn't compromise how you can deliver service to clients or partners, or but you need to ensure that you have your procedures and your way of working set up in a way like that. And yeah, we learned that over the years, obviously.
And Bart, final question for me: is Peter still involved? If so, in what capacity in the new company?
Yeah, so Peter will be the chairman of the board. So probably, of course, Peter will still be one of the founders and also still one of the owners. So Peter will be the chairman of the board, and he will be actually in the board for 2 companies. So I will see Peter at least on a quarterly board meeting, but Peter and I have regular conversations, whether it's like once every month or once every week, or that's something that we need to figure out a little bit what works. But Peter will definitely be engaged, but in a more like a distant role as a non-executive member of the team. Yeah.
Well, Bart, thank you for giving us this opportunity to share the news with the world with you. Congratulations again. That's awesome news. We didn't know until we got on the call.
Yeah.
So this is really cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And looking forward to see you in September. Well, probably you on the 12th of September then as well, Matthew, but we'll see if we can make it. But thanks, guys. And yeah, let's stay in touch.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.